The Ocean Kai Library presents book bites, comics, graphic novels, and manga. These three formats have a lot of overlap. They're all highly visual. They have an emphasis on the illustrations, without which you will not be able to read the story or understand what was happening, since the text is limited to dialogue or very small bubbles of text. It's almost entirely illustrations. They use that to convey the meanings in the illustrations, but there are some differences between the three as well that we are going to discuss. Comics are normally initially released as a single issue. It tells an ongoing story with multiple arcs. They often feature heroes or anti-heroes. They'll have multiple creators and contributors to the stories over time. And there's also multiple interpretations or variations of characters. So you could be reading the original series, from Marvel 616 universe, or modern day ones, or there's even a zombie one that was very popular back in the early 2000s. It depends on which one you choose to follow. You don't have to follow all of the arcs. You can just pick up, I like this author version of the character, and read that alone, or you can read all of them. Some of them you'll also know from publishers, so Marvel, DC, Boom Studios, Image Comics, Dark Horse Comics, and Archie Comics are all very common, popular publishers for comics. Graphic novels are longer than a comic. They're released either as a standalone title or a short series. They'll have either one author or a small number of author and illustrator creators. They tell their story. It's a beginning, a middle, and end, and that is normally it. Some examples are The Watchmen, Fun Home, Mouse, This One Summer, and V for Vendetta. Manga traditionally refers to a comic series from Japan. They, in Japan, are normally released as individual issues, compiled into a trade paperback manga format before coming to America. It can refer to the style of the illustrations now, as more American authors and illustrators are using the traditional style from Japan. They're also normally read from right to left rather than left to right. And some popular ones are Sailor Moon, One Punch Man, Anonymous Noise, My Hero Academia, and Love is War. I'm now going to tell you about some titles that you might not have read from all three of these different branches of comics, graphic novels, and also manga. They're all available from the Ocean Kai Library, either as in digital format or in physical format that you can borrow from us. Giant Days follows three very different girls during their time in university. First is Susan. She's very sarcastic and realistic. Next is Daisy. She is super sweet, very nice, believes the best in everyone. And the third is Esther. She is a daydreamer. She's over-the-top dramatic and always seems to be getting into trouble. You get to see these girls as they grow up into the people they will become. It's an excellent coming-of-age story filled with a ton of humor and ridiculous hijinks as they seem to always be getting in trouble as they're trying to navigate their world and around them and growing up and becoming adults. Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan is an ongoing series. It is set during the 1980s, following four girls on their paper route when they are unexpectedly attacked by men dressed as though they're from the future. They then get thrown back and forth through time and have to skip around through time trying to find their way back home while encountering their future selves, their past selves, all the way back into the Stone Age and dinosaurs, while trying to figure out what happened, who's trying to follow them and attack them, and just get home. If you like Stranger Things, you'll be sure to love this series. Spinning by Tilly Walden is a biographical comic. It has simple illustrations, making it easy to follow for first-time readers, and even though they're simple, they convey a large amount of emotions. The story is of Tilly as she is training to be an ice skater, her early mornings, her adjustment, and also her coming to terms with her sexuality and moving around, and all the changes she's going through. They Called Us Enemy by George Takei, best known for playing Sulu on Star Trek, tells the story of him growing up during World War II and his family being relocated to a Japanese internment camp in California. While the story deals with difficult parts throughout history and his experiences with them, it does end with an inspirational message and a feeling of hope. Black Clover by Yuki Tabata is set in a world where everyone has magic powers. Asta seems to be the only person, however, that has none. He was raised in the same orphanage as Juno, who is a child prodigy using magic. While best friends growing up, they develop a rivalry as both hope to become the Wizard King. Before setting out into the world, Yuno receives the 4-leaf clover grimoire from the first wizard. Asta, however, finds the 5-leaf grimoire, which contains mysterious elf swords and instructions on how to use anti-magic. As they set out to follow their own path and make a name for themselves to reach their goal, they gain friendships and develop their skills, hoping to eventually become the Wizard King. This series is action-packed and great for fans of My Hero Academia, Yu Yu Hakusho, and other shonen manga. A Silent Voice by Yoshitoki Oima is about an elementary school student, Shoya, who bullied his classmate Shoko for being deaf until she transferred schools. After that, he was shunned by his classmates and former friends. 6 years later, in high school, realizing that he needs to right his wrongs, Shoya decides to start doing good deeds. He quickly reunites with Shoko and realizes that they are both lonely because of his past behavior. In order to fix this, he makes it his goal to reconnect Shoko with their old classmates, giving her the chance to befriend them and also make new friends along the way. This is a sweet manga about friendship and redemption that is great for all readers. Thank you for watching. I hope that these recommendations help you dive in feet first with recommendations for graphic novels, comics, and manga, and that you're able to find something that you love.